I wanted to make this video for anyone looking into becoming a Doordash driver and also anyone who's just getting started out, so you can know whether or not this is a job that you'd like to stick with, or if you're just looking into it, if this is a job you would actually want to do. So we're going to be going over some pros and some cons of being a Doordash driver and just everything that comes along with this job. So I'm going to start off with the cons just because I feel like more people are going to want to see what's kind of the downside of working this job first. So then if you don't want to, you don't have to watch all the way through till the end. You can just watch halfway through, see the cons, and know if this is the job for you. So right off the bat, the biggest problem is that your pay is unpredictable and it's basically left up to chance and luck. Yes, there is some strategy, and I have an entire library of videos that you can go watch if you want to know different strategies and things that I do and how I've learned over 4 years of dashing how to make as much money as possible. But the bottom line is it all comes down to luck. If customers are tipping good that specific day, if your area is busy that day, if people are even ordering food, if there's not as many dashers on the road, because when there's a lot of dashers, it's going to be slower for you, if the restaurants are going to be quick and have the orders ready, or if they're going to be understaffed and you're going to have to wait a while. Like, there are just so many factors that come into play when it comes to the amount of money you can make. It makes it really hard to determine how much money you can make, and it makes it hard to predict your pay. You might think, okay, I'm going to go out for 5 hours, I'm going to make $125 today. Well, you can't really gauge that. You could end up going out for 5 hours and only making $90. So then you really have to go out for like 7, or just, it's so unpredictable, and every day is different. Some days are really good, some days are really bad. And so a lot of it is left up to luck and chance. And if you can't really handle that, then Doordash might not be the job for you. And I know myself, I can handle that decently, but even as someone who can, it's still not the best thing in the world when you go out and are expecting to make a certain amount and you have to work longer than you wanted to hit your goal. So right off the bat, that is the biggest con. Now the next thing is the fact that what you make and what you get deposited into your bank account isn't how much money you actually get to keep. There are so many expenses that come along with being a Doordash driver that it kind of makes it hard, because as a normal employee at a W-2 job, the expenses get taken out automatically. They pay your taxes for you, and then also you don't have to account for any other expenses because you're not an independent contractor. You're not basically running your own business. So you don't have to worry about car maintenance and car repairs. You don't have to worry about putting wear and tear on your car. You don't have to worry about your gas expense, which is now through the roof as a Doordash driver, and there's just other things too. Sometimes it can really feel like an uphill climb of trying to actually make money at this job. So if you're not good at managing money or anything like that, this might not be the job for you. Now the next cons kind of just go along with some of the things I mentioned in the first one, but we have slow restaurants, which can really just be annoying. Because just about everywhere is so understaffed right now, you run into a lot of wasted time where you're just sitting around waiting for the restaurant to get you your order. Ways to combat that is by multi-apping. That's the best way I've found to eliminate wait times as best as possible. So using multiple apps. The next con is the fact that the app glitches sometimes. In fact, this just happened the other day where I go to start my dash and it's just glitched. The entire system is down and I can't even start my dash to work. So that's a big problem when, I mean, good thing I didn't absolutely need to go out to like pay bills or something, but I'm sure for a lot of people out there, that is the case, where if you don't work that day, you're not going to have enough money to pay your bills. And so when you go onto the app and it says unable to load data or whatever the heck message it pops up where it says that you can't dash, it's super frustrating, because I have been in those situations in years past where I absolutely needed the money. I needed to go out and dash that night, and stuff like this happens. Or you'll be mid-dash and this will happen, and you needed to hit a certain goal for that day, and now you can't because the app is glitching. So that happens way more than it should, but it's a big problem. So again, if you can't handle that, this might not be the job for you. Now the next con is the fact that you just can't control the orders you're getting, and that there are so many bad orders. So sometimes you waste time rejecting a lot of orders, and it can really just get frustrating after a while of declining order after order. So that's just another con, but it's not as big as the other ones. And then the last one is the fact that you can get deactivated based on lies that customers could tell DoorDash support. Because I've had this happen, I believe 3 times. I've honestly lost track, but where a customer says that you never dropped off their food, even though you did, just so they can get their meal for free, and that can lead to deactivation, or at least contract violations, which can lead to deactivation as well. And so I got deactivated in a time of my life where I absolutely relied on my DoorDash income. And this was a big time struggle for me. I had to find other ways to generate income. I had to try other side hustles, other gig apps, and it just was really rough. And so it's not the best feeling when it feels like your entire job and your biggest stream of income is in the hands of dishonest people and in the hands of a company that doesn't really care about you and cares way more about its customers than it does your own job and your own lifestyle. So now that we got the cons out of the way, let's go through the pros really quickly. The main pro is that you can work whenever you want. Now there is a caveat to that because in most areas, you have to be a top dasher in order to dash whenever you want. And they promote the crap out of the fact that you can make your own schedule. That's what they say. But really, it gets hard, at least in my area, to schedule your shift and to work when you want, like they promote, unless you're a top dasher. So that is a pro, but it also comes with a caveat. Another pro is you can work basically as many hours as you want and make as much money as you want. I mean, there is a cap to the amount of money you can make in a day, probably around $400 to $500, and that's if you're working like 20 hours. But you can, in theory, work as long as you want and make as much money as you want. So if you're in a bind and you need to make $500 fast, you can go out and work 20 hours straight and make that money and get it deposited into your account the same day, which is really nice because I've had to do that sometimes where I'm like, I got to get some money somehow. And so I'll go out and dash like back-to-back 15-hour days or something like that, and then you can have the money. So that's super nice. That is a big pro to having this job rather than any other normal employee job. And that kind of leads into the next pro, which is you get paid daily if you want to pay the $1.99 fee. And if you don't, you still get paid weekly, which is better than a lot of places out there, which is usually on a 2-week pay cycle. The next pro is that you don't really have to put in much effort. I mean, to be honest, it's the easiest job I've ever worked. You get to sit in your car all day and you get to listen to music, listen to podcasts, YouTube, whatever it is, and you just get to chill. You can be on your phone, you can be talking to your friend, you can be on the phone with your mom, you can ride around with your friends, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever it is. There's not many rules that come along with this job, so that is really nice. There's a lot of freedom involved with it. And that kind of leads directly into the last pro, which is you don't have a boss, you don't have coworkers, you don't have to rely on anyone else. I was a manager at Taco Bell and KFC, and the amount of relying on other people I did for the satisfaction of my workday was unbelievable. If I had 2 people not show up for their shift, then I knew my night was screwed and I was going to be in for a rough day. And so that's super nice to not have to rely on anyone else. You can just go out, work when you want, make the money you want to make, and not have to deal with all that. And also not have to deal with a boss breathing down your neck, all these rules, all this following orders, directions, and constantly worrying like, oh, is my boss going to come in and ruin the whole day? Like all that garbage that comes along with being a regular employee. So there you guys have it. Hopefully you learned something from this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe, and hopefully you can make a better decision on if this job is right for you. And if you want to see how much I spend in a week as a full-time DoorDash driver, make sure you check out this video right here, and I'll see you guys next time.